All right. Um, haven't done a video recording in a few days. Um, Last week was a very, very rough week for me. Um, Today, much better. um, Small green, but whoa, 367.72. Um, Small green, but good start to the week. Um, Overall, market's hitting all-time highs, and still pushing in after hours. It does feel very, very extended. Um, and I anticipate some sort of contraction back to the 9 on the daily, or um, some sort of consolidation. Um, but as of now, it is grinding higher. It seems as though from a macroeconomic perspective, a lot of good things ahead with trade and such. So very, very optimistic for 2026. Um, and hopefully we can maintain this momentum into the new year, so November and December. Um, Today started off very strong, and then kind of fizzled out for me. Missed several opportunities, and my biggest win of the day was in pre-market, and I did not play it very well. But overall, happy with today. I am swinging some size in LUCD, which I have been. I made some money on Friday, and then today, kind of just sized back in, trying to build a position. Um, but outside of that, didn't get a good night's sleep last night. Was extremely exhausted. Um, Need to do a better job of timing my hike with the dog at lunch, because I did miss out on this leg right here. I caught some of this pop, um, but missed this leg entirely, and then just was not focused here at all. So, pretty big miss there, especially because I could have really sized up in here. But unfortunately, I missed that opportunity. Um, we'll just start with right down the line. I did not trade that many tickers today relative to what I typically trade. I traded 7 tickers. So ASST, this one, really, really nice structure. I think this is going to be, I think this might be a breakout candidate in after hours today, but I think this is going to have some continuation tomorrow, maybe to $2.50, $3 area at this supply zone. Holding the 9 on the 4 hour really well, just broke out of a tiny little pennant with this spinning top candle, pretty aggressive one. But yeah, what I was watching and focused on, this may present a trade right here, right now. If 160 breaks. Better just sit on my hands. So yeah, what I recognized here was this in after hours on Friday. We had this really nice push, building 3 different volume nodes: volume node, volume node, volume node. And then in pre-market this morning, it crazy push, crazy wick, and then kind of just consolidated at the after hours demand zone from Friday. So you could see the wick here, wick here, wick here, wick here, all just tapping and holding this supply zone or demand zone, excuse me. It coiled really tight in here. My first trade I took the trade at 150, and as soon as I pulled the trigger, I thought to myself, man, this was a mistake. You're getting a little ahead of yourself. Wait for the 150 break, or try and buy a bottom somewhere near a support level. But I took it, and it kind of just chopped around. And then once it flushed right here, I cut it. Got pretty crappy fill just because it flushed so hard so fast. And I was out, what, 70, $80 there. It then tightened here, and I just took small size just because I was in my head about this. 5 minute looked great though. Had this really nice contraction here, holding the 9, breaking VWAP, and it looked like it was just going to break this 155 level, which was this daily gap level. And it did, but it wasn't able to get back to pre-market high at that time. So I scaled out pretty aggressively very quickly, and then it continued a bit higher. I did take that to, I think, like down $30, so I made like $40 on that trade. And then later in the day, I ended up catching this move in here, and again took very small size. My thought on this trade here was, I was watching, we had this really nice just chop around in here, but making higher low, higher low, higher high, higher high. So I was watching this pull back here back to VWAP, and then the break through 155. We got the hold of 155 after the break here, and the hold of the 9 SMA on the 1 minute. And on the 5 minute, the 9 had kind of flattened out, but was still continuing higher, still trending higher after this really nice push, almost up too high of day. So I was watching this 163 level, and I took a starter 500 shares right here on after this break. So it broke through this level here, and then I cut it here. I kept it tight, really stupid on my part. I just didn't want to go back down to, I took back was able to get back some of the losses on this move. And I should have just recognized that I did recognize support was at 155, but unfortunately I didn't want to give it that much room, which was silly. And then I added back here on this pop through and just did not add any size, and this just took off really, really nicely. So this 5 minute is looking really nice. So is the 30. This 160 level is trying. There's 161, 162. Yeah, this is breaking pretty nicely. So yeah, this just broke higher. I scaled out through trying. I thought it could go to pre-market high, and it obviously did, but I got a little skeptical through this chop, and I also just was not holding any size enough for me to just say, you know what, like this is going to make or break my day. So once I kind of got green, I just said, you know what, I'm good on this on the day. But really, really nice push here. 30 minute was clean. We got this right in here, this really nice pullback right to VWAP with this hammer candle, and then the hold of the 9 SMA on the 30 minute and that 155 level, and then just a straight push through both this break of structure and then this break of structure, and then it ultimately broke pre-market high. So just really, really nice push. This looks like it wants to go. I wish I just took 160. This was really clean. is what it is. COCP. This one was really frustrating. I wouldn't consider this a waste of a trade because this was a really, really nice structure here. We had this really nice push in pre-market on Friday, pullback, and then just a really nice cup with an above the rim handle with this really, really aggressive hammer with really nice volume. So I thought that this was going to push higher, but it just struggled here at this 129 level right there. 4 hour looked great. It pulled back to the 9 SMA on the 4 hour and then pushed. So I took decent size here at 127. I kind of scaled in. I had 1,000, then 3,000, then another 1,000. And this just pushed higher really nicely. And then I started to scale in here. I added back 2,000 shares back to that full 5,000 share position on this high of day and 129 break from pre-market. And unfortunately, it just got really weak. And I gave it a little bit. I gave it the benefit of the doubt, even though it had pretty aggressive volume coming in over here on these distribution candles, but into high of day. But I probably should have just cut it sooner. But nevertheless, cut it on the break of 127. Decent fill. And then added back looking to see if 125 could hold from this cup and handle here in earlier in the morning, plus VWAP, but it flushed. And I actually had 124 as my stop, and I guess there were just no limits on the bid. And I got a really bad fill, which kind of sucked. So that was annoying. That was an $80 loss. I'll keep it on my radar tomorrow as it is holding the 9 on the 4 hour. And the daily is still, it still looks like it could try and fill this daily gap up here above 150, but not a high priority for me. Keep it on the back burner. CODX, this was the cleanest chart of the day, and unfortunately I just did not execute on it. Yeah, just clean, super clean chart. Yeah, I was early to it in here on this break here, and cut it quick, thinking that it would find some resistance at high of day, which it did, but I cut it way too soon. I mean, a $50 winner on very small size. I only took 1,000 shares, so $800 trade. But I really should have sized up. The problem with these types of tickers is, especially when it's the leader of the day, you get crazy range on 1 minute candles to where I don't feel comfortable sizing up 1,000, like a 10 grand or 10,000 shares, so 8 grand on a ticker like this. And, you know, I'm out $200, potentially maybe $300 in one. I mean, the range on this is 6 cents. That's $600 worth of, of delta in one candle, which is insane. I would not feel comfortable holding through that. So it's really tough for me to size up on these types of tickers where you have these pennies that are the leaders of the day. I mean, this was the highest, the biggest return on any ticker today. But yeah, I need to do a better job of I guess sizing in and recognizing where my stop is, and really setting my risk limit, as well as finding better areas to enter. Like right here on this break, unfortunately was not at the desk, but really starting to size in through here and then just loading on this candle on this dip after we got this breakout, this fake break, or even adding through in here and looking for just a nice push straight through. I mean, the 5 minute was super clean right there. So entry execution, need to work on, and sizing in need to work on, because I really missed out on a lot on this ticker, this name today specifically. So Krev, this just has really nice daily structure. I only took 100 shares just to kind of keep it on my radar. I didn't want to lose it in the watch lists. Really, really nice daily structure. I want to get to 1,000 shares. I think this has the chance of really squeezing. So from a volume profile perspective, if you go to the 30-day, 30-minute, I mean, this just, it built this point of control here, smaller volume at a lower, but still within the value area, within the value area, and then the point of control started to climb back up to here, and then Friday and today climbed up higher. So once we get this 564 break, I think there's a chance that this could squeeze up to upwards of 7, maybe 8. So that would be nice. 1,000 shares. Just let this ride, and capture a couple bucks off of that one. DFLI. This one, I thought could be I don't want to say a sympathy play off of DVLT, but similar structure in that we had this push, pull, contraction around the 9, and then this secondary push, and we got this secondary push here, but I kind of neglected that in terms of, this just kind of, that being a one-off where we just continued to consolidate to fill this daily gap. And we got this really nice hammer candle here, and then the push up on Friday. And then today it gapped up a bit, but just wasn't able to hold. And the 4-hour looked really nice, holding the 9 SMA here. I thought we were going to get a push higher, but unfortunately that gap down at the open just really did it in. I took this in pre-market, and I kind of sized up a bit too big, too early. I'm glad I did cut it when I did. But there was really no level of confirmation that this was going to go, other than there was just a very small downtrend break here on the 5-minute right there, which was where I took it. So unfortunately, just it didn't have the juice to do it, and I sized in too quickly. I was thinking to myself, 136 is a great area to size in, which was, I knew what I was risking. So from that perspective, I'm happy with the way I traded it, but unfortunately it just, I should have recognized that this just didn't have the juice in here to push higher. And after it collapsed back down here, I'm glad I got out of it when I did. But I shouldn't have continued to add down here. I should have waited for more confirmation to get that break at 140, to then add at 144, which was Friday's high of day, I believe. No, that was Sunday. That was yesterday's trading high during the Sunday session. LUCD. This one's really, really frustrating. I don't feel like I'm going to get burned on it, but man, I don't like that this hasn't gone yet. 4-hour looks really, really strong. 5-minute, really, really nice. Holding Friday's open at 150 all day, or 125 all day today. Held pre-market and after-hour lows. So, I mean, it seems like a strong ticker. We had nice buying pressure in here today, especially into the close, but I don't like that this hasn't gone yet. From a volume profile perspective, it's still holding this point of control from the big breakout day right here. This also wasn't a vol spike candidate. I like to see this be a 5 times or higher multiple of the prior 50 period average. But really this was the day that it had the vol spike. Now, since then, it's held that high, which was 112. So from that perspective, it is still bullish, and this ascending triangle is pretty textbook. But I just want to see more volume come in here, and I want to see the break. I would have liked to have seen it happen today, but unfortunately, it opened at Friday's close, and it looked like it wanted to just get the market maker wanted to absorb more weak hands. I guess they didn't size in as much as they would have liked. Um, if this is still a bullish thesis, which it is for me, but um, from an underlying, like, what's the motive of this ticker? Does it want to go higher, or is this just trapping more longs up here at 129? I mean, from a daily perspective, it closed higher on Friday with a little bit higher vol um, than it had seen, 535, 584, then 727, and it closed above this daily base. And then today, slightly less vol, but still relative to Friday's vol. I don't like how high it was. But it could just be continued accumulation. I don't like this 4-hour spinning top wick, but I do like the bottom wicks holding this 125 level. So I know what my risk is. It's 124. I'll cut it at 124. We'll see how that goes tomorrow. And then finally, TGL. This was my biggest trade of the morning, and this was just rock solid trading. I felt this one, and I wish I sized up to 10,000 shares on this, if not more, maybe 15. This was just clean action. And this is what I studied over the weekend, trying to recognize where these supply zone or these demand zones are, and accumulating along with the big boys. So we had this really nice consolidation at the point of control that built a point of control in after hours on Friday. Had the push up early in pre-market, and then just a consolidation at that dollar level, which was the point of control from Friday. And I recognized that and just started to build a position, kind of 1,000 shares at a time. This was a 4,000 share or 2,000 share, two 2,000 share buys. I had one limit order at $1 that got filled. Yeah, the 1650 and 350 for 2,000 shares, and then I slapped 101 for another 2,000 shares, and in the same minute candle, and I ended up getting filled because I didn't think I was going to get filled on the $1 limit order, but I did. So that was nice. And then this just continued to hold this dollar level with some slight liquidity grabs down here, below $1 there, and then on these two. And then once it broke through 101 right here and closed at 102 and continued to hold 101 on the bid, and then we got this break here, I knew it was off to the races. And I just started to scale really nicely. Now here is where I sold on my phone, and I clicked sell at 107, but for some reason my phone bought 2,500 at 107, and I ended up giving back, I guess, another $50, because I would have sold at 107, but instead I bought up to 5. So I had 5,000 shares, and then it sunk another penny, so I was down another $50. So that was really frustrating. What I should have recognized up here, but I wanted to stay patient. I put a lot of time and effort in studying this weekend, and I wanted to make sure that I gave it time. Even though I did recognize it was finding some resistance, some pretty aggressive resistance here at VWAP, I wanted to see if it could continue to hold the point of control and push higher. Unfortunately, it didn't, and I gave it a respectable amount of time. Unfortunately, this just sucked with my phone just being. I guess I deleted by accident the minus for the sell in terms of shares, and it ended up just being a positive share amount instead of a negative, and yeah, that was really frustrating. So But otherwise, $500 on that. I was up almost a grand up here, which was pretty sweet. But yeah, I just need to continue to focus on these types of opportunities, and really just capitalize on them, because this was just picture perfect, picture perfect. This was an A plus trade, A plus trade. I don't like, even with this mess up here, just an A plus trade, and I am so happy with the way that I traded this ticker, especially coming off of a really rough night's sleep. Um, but just making sure that I stick with it on the weekends, and I make time, to really focus and spend a few hours to kind of keep my mind still involved, and I'm not rusty when I get back after a 2 day break of not really focusing. So I'm just really happy with the way I traded this today. Um, Hopefully tomorrow is a better day than today. I really need to start stepping it up, especially with the market starting to trend higher again. Hopefully we can get into a trending territory where we start to see more momentum back into small caps. Um, I think after Wednesday, if we do, which it looks like is a high probability of getting another rate cut, we'll start to see more momentum in small caps, and the overall market in general. Um, but yeah, just really happy with the way I traded this morning, and looking to continue to to stay green, and trade clean and smart, and yeah, continue to grow, evolve, and get better every day. So that was today.